Okay, welcome back to Case Closed, Anime Review, Episode 104. This I'm reviewing the 994th episode of the anime, which is called Makoto the Understudy, Part 2. Yes. Now, despite him being the episode, he doesn't really do anything. He basically just does some conversation, but he does virtually nothing. Alright, now in the case of this episode itself, it adapts from the rest of chapter 1024. Yeah, it finishes up that chapter. Actually, 23 was finishing up because last week it got to the last 4 or 5 pages. This episode finishes up adapting those 5 pages, goes the entirety of that chapter 1024, and goes about halfway into chapter 1025. Oh, and plus, they actually reference to an old case in this episode. So, they throw on suspicions exactly like who could have possibly killed the guy who was killed last week's episode. And of course, it's revealed the noise that Makoto heard was not like a chirping noise, almost quiet. It was like a bird or insect. They later figured out there was actually a toy that a production assistant basically had named Okita. Yeah, he had it. Yeah, they figured this out. They basically after chatting for a while. It's like we figured out that the makeup artist who's suffering from allergies, she needs to take her medicine with water. So one of the other production assistants is like, "Okay, I'll go buy everybody drinks." Every usual order is like, and of course, oh wait, he's not here. So and then Conan talks to the actress. And she says, "Isn't he the one who passed away?" And yes. And it's later revealed the origin of the scar that's on her forehead. Yes, they actually. I do appreciate the anime actually showing this a little bit better than the manga, because it was like he was actually going to pick her up, and he actually overslept. So she basically nearly got hit by a drunk driver, hitting her head on looks like a mailpost. In the anime, they actually brought to show it. In the manga, it's like, oh, she's already on the ground. Like, okay. I mean, I appreciate the anime actually showing it. And then later on, where she wakes up in the hospital, and of course, the guy did show up. And, yeah, he basically showed up. And he basically just, he put his handkerchief on her head and basically until the ambulance got there. And he went straight to the hospital. Yep. Yeah, took him straight to the hospital, and showed he had blood in his hands. And apparently, the actor who died he played a practical drink on him because he had blood in his hands, and this would indirectly help cause his death, which was in a car crash. Oh, and they also revealed that he was also in a relationship with the makeup artist. Yep. Yeah, and also they had, and also the production assistant who was there with them, the one who was suffering from a cold. Apparently, they were really close friends, and they just love special effects. And well, the makeup artist was basically the one dating him, and she liked special effects too. So they removed all the wounds, exception of the one at the temple, which that's a real genuine wound. And then after everybody gets their drinks, now Okita basically he gets his drink from the director, who, they kind of feel oh yeah, this is actually his. So, then of course, he's given a drink. Of course, also, I should point out, though, in the last week's episode, he was texting the culprit who may have been the one behind it. And he, of course, he gets back to check it later. Like, oh, you are made up? And then he dies. Yep, he dies. And then, of course, Sarah walks over to, check him, and she smells almonds in his mouth. And Conan confirms to Maguire and Takagi that he was poisoned. By the way, Takagi actually was the one who helped the production assistant who was there. He helped them basically carry the bag of drinks basically there. And Then, of course, well, they chat about basically how Conan might be Sichi. Yeah, this is something that's not been brought up in quite some time in the series. I think like the last time was like a long time ago, and basically Rand just gave up with it. Basically, was like, "Nah, I changed my mind. He's not really him." So Buster was like, yep." It's like, how do you see? Like, why is it? Is it strange that whenever CG shows up, Conan is absent, and then Rand's like, they have been together the same thing before, and she's like, what? When the heck this happened? This happened in the second transformation sequence, believe it or not. You're probably curious though, like, when the heck did this happen? Like, in the anime, this happened way back in episode 188. You're probably thinking, damn, that far back? Yeah. When it comes to Conan turn to Sichi, it doesn't really happen very often in the series. Oh no, it only happened like 1, 2, 3, 4. It only happened 5 times in the series. Yes, 5 times. The last time it happened in the anime was actually back in episode, well, I think it was like 927 was last. This is episode 994. It's been like since like 920 when he transformed into Sichi. That was like, I'd say about 59 episodes, actually about 49 episodes since then. Yeah, that's how long it's been since his last transformation sequence. And the anime has already covered like all of his transformations. He didn't do it very much in the manga. Oh no, he didn't. Like, it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, only 6 times. Yes, only like 6 times in the series. And the last time was actually 2 years ago, believe it or not. Yeah, it was actually 2 years ago, but in the manga, this happened like I think about 2 years prior to that. So his last transformation was in the manga was roughly 4 years ago. In terms of the anime, it happened 2 years ago. Yeah, that was last special time, and they're referencing something that happened back episode 188. Yeah, that far back. That's not a joke. That far back. And then we have this really interesting ending of the episode where you have Sarah talking to Conan. It's like, okay, of course, the check was like, right, Conan? And she's or rather, Kudo Sichi-kun. He's like, yeah, and he's just like, what? He's kind of like indirectly revealed that he is in fact Sichi, which I appreciate they added that little suspense in the anime, and that's where the episode ends. It's a damn good episode, and I can't wait for next week, where it concludes this arc. And though here's the thing, you actually have to wait like a good, like, I think about 9 chapters, like, after this. You have to go through 2 storks after this before she finally returns. Yeah, that's the thing with Master Sarah. She only appears in 2 other arcs, aside from this one. Yep, she does. Which you're probably thinking, why in the world would she only appear like in like 1 other arc aside from this one? Well, she hasn't really appeared very much. I mean, I love when this character shows up in the manga. So, I kind of wish that they would, even the anime too, because she's just a great character. And I'm really hoping, I mean, it's only been, like, in the manga, it hasn't been that long. It's only been, like, 16 chapters since the last appearance. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if she may return to the manga. I mean, it's distinctly possible. Yep. But next week's episode is going to have the detective boy. The detective boy is going to make an appearance in next week's episode. Yeah, they're going to make an appearance in next week's episode, which I myself am very much looking forward to for that. Yeah. If you're curious, like, how long ago did this case come out in the manga? Let's see here if I can find it. This case came out roughly in 2018. Yeah, it started back in 2018. It was actually the last case that came out that year. It actually concluded, like, by the time I was actually start watching the anime. Yeah, that's the interesting thing. They actually concluded that. Though, the thing is, the next case doesn't start until, looking at the calendar, doesn't start for at least for 9 days. So it's not going to happen for a little bit. I mean, it's not going to happen. I'm not sure exactly what the case is going to be called. Oh, and by the way, this case is considered to be the 295th case. Now, do I think that they're going to adapt the very next case that comes right after this one? I don't know. It's possible. They might have to do it. Yes. The arc itself is only five chapters, so my guess is for the next case, the Snowy Mountains case, which is also 5 chapters, I would probably think they probably would start this in episode 1000. That's what my opinion about it is. I mean, that's the thing. Like, by the time they finish adapting this arc, there will only be exactly 40 chapters behind the manga. Only 40 chapters. I would not be surprised if they decided to adapt this one right away. It's distinctly possible. It's nothing says they can't do it. Yeah, there's nothing says they can't do it. And it seems as though at times they wait like 9 episodes between when they do these canon stuff. Though when they did the Policewoman Zero case, when they did that one, that happened exactly I think it was 25 episodes after that Black Bunny case. I don't mind it if it's 5 episodes, 9, but why in the world was that long? It made no freaking sense to wait that freaking long. Though that could be due to the fact that they want to throw in some more filler. Yeah. Probably also at that time, they probably didn't have that many chapters basically coming at that point. It's distinctly possible. Yeah, so that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned for my reviews because, well, I think that I might be able to do an episode duo. First review for that. A Comic Corner and maybe a couple other videos. It's distinctly possible. I hope so, okay? See you in the next video. Bye.